Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back. It is Thrilled, and today we're going to be looking at some of my old anime hot takes. We're going to see if I still agree with them, still don't. My content has switched up quite a lot in terms of my anime TikTok, so not as many hot takes now, but we'll go take a look at some of the older ones and see if I still agree with them. If you guys like anime content like me, I do have my TikToks in the description. This is my main TikTok, but we need to head over to Thrilled Anime. If you just type that in, I will come up on TikTok, and we just basically post anime stuff daily. So yeah, if you guys enjoy anime stuff, you will love my TikTok. But this is going to be the best place where we're going to find my hot takes. So these are going to get spicier as we go. We're going to start with my best character series and just scroll through now. Now these are typically pretty good. They're pretty simple. I'm going to go to part one because part one's going to have the craziest amount of, well, I don't want to say crazy, but it's going to be the, how do I explain it? Like One Piece here, you see there's a lot of characters missing. Alright, so we're going to start off pretty light with top 10 anime main characters, right? This is going to be something pretty light, and oops, I have to leave it paused. TikTok's so weird. But we're going to start with something light, which is my top 10 anime MCs. Let's see if we still agree with this. And then these are going to get hotter and hotter as we go along, so let's take a look. So honorable mentions, we have Desem, Ikichi Onizuka, and Motoko Kusanagi. Now, great MCs, all three of them, fantastic. So I'm not mad at those being in the honorable mentions. Number 10, we have Yusuke. I do like Yusuke a lot. He's pretty cool. I don't know if he makes top 10, though, because I think Vash honestly makes top 10 now after watching that. Edward, fantastic. Ippo, fantastic. Oh, no, Vash is already on here, so yeah, I guess Yusuke still stays. Vash at number 7. Love Vash. He's goated. Shinra, Mugen, Mob, Asta, Lelouch, and Spike Spiegel. Yeah, I think I still agree with that list. But let's move on and get to some more of our hotter takes. While I'm looking for my hot takes, you guys can go down and hit the subscribe button, right? It's free if you guys enjoy the content. You know, it really means a lot to me. Okay, now we have a series here that I canceled, which is worst character in every anime, because I'm tired of the, I said it right here. This will be a 3-parter, but we'll go back to positive maxing. Yeah, I feel like spreading negativity through the anime community is just not very good, but, yeah, like I said, I'm done posting, like, worst character, overrated, stuff like that. I don't do anything like that anymore because if you like a show, you like a show, right? Like, there's no need to spread that negativity. But if you guys want to spread some positivity with me, my subathon might be going on right now. It starts December 28th, so you guys should come stop by when it's going on. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a pretty long subathon, and I'm so excited for that. So that's in the description, twitch.tv/birthrow. But here we have, worst character in every anime. So we have Kaguya, definitely not a hot take. Seke, I saw some people disagreeing with Seke, but, definitely, I don't think it's necessarily a hot take, right? Like, he is just kind of annoying. There's not really that many bad characters. He's just a little annoying. Invisible Baby, people are mad at this. Still, I don't think this is a bad take. Invisible Baby's an awful character. Ulti from One Piece, terrible character. Not a hot take. I mean, there's just no bad character in the show, right? Uryu, now, people are mad at this, and I have a video currently blowing up on TikTok. You might have seen it, talking about how much I hate Uryu, right? Uryu is just an awful character, so definitely not moving my take on this. Kenta, yes. Gluttony, I still don't move. Gluttony, yeah, people got mad at me using Gluttony as well. I want to explain this as a hot take. I get the character's written well. That doesn't make them a good character. Like he's supposed to be representation of gluttony. Yeah, that's not good personality, dude. That's just not a good character. Like, I'm sorry, bro. Him being fat isn't a good personality. Like, I just don't get that. I just put Tsubomi here. I'm not gonna lie, I probably wouldn't put Tsubomi. That's kind of bad. Never forgive her. Nah, that's low-key crazy. I'm not gonna lie. She just didn't want to date Mob, bro. So, yeah, but yeah, not these as well. Gohan, for some people it's going to be a hot take. I do think he ruins the show, but that's a whole other video. And, honestly, I might make that for the subathon as well. And then Panda, just don't like Panda, but I guess it's a hot take. Apparently Poof was a hot take. People like Poof. I don't know how. The only bad character really in Hunter x Hunter, I like everybody in Hunter x Hunter except for Poof. He's pretty annoying. I don't know how people really like him, but yeah, that's my opinion on that. All right, next we have a lot of ones in a row here. We have the anime characters graded, and then we have overrated or underrated. So we'll go through these real quick and see if there's any hot takes. Okay, so this one, some people might say B is a hot take for Okarun. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to change this one, and I'm actually going to move him to a C. I don't really like Okarun at all. I think B was a little generous for Okarun. I just don't think he's that good of a character. He's pretty boring and kind of lame. So, yeah, I guess that's a hot take, and I'm actually making this even hotter of a take. I don't really like Okaru, and I think he's kind of boring. Okay, I think a lot of people, were mad about the Denji one. I said he's too much of a gooner, and I hate the people that are always like, he's not a gooner, he's a victim. No, he can be both. That's totally possible. Did we not watch the episode where he was begging to feel up power? Like, I'm sorry, bro. He's also a gooner too. Like, all he thinks about is women the whole time, bro. Like, yes, he is a victim, but he is also a gooner. So I'm defending this hot take. I don't think Denji's a bad character, but I don't think he's a great character by any means. C's right in the middle of the road, so I think that's totally fair. Saying he's not a gooner is not true. Saying he's not a victim is not true, but he is both. I don't know why people think he has to be one or the other. Like, you can read some of the comments here. There's always like, oh, well, he's not a gooner, he's a victim. He's both. You can easily be both. I don't understand how people don't understand that, but yeah, he is most definitely a gooner. I mean, just watch the show. That's all he talks about the whole first 12 episodes. Okay, some people here as well also did not like that I put Ash at a B-. Ash is just low-key a fraud. That's honestly why. I mean, he's got a good personality and everything, but really, it took him 25 years to win it all. Is kind of crazy, I'm not going to lie. So, for me, that's kind of why I have him at B-. It's just, his goal took him way too long to accomplish. Now, I know it's not 25 years in the show or whatever, but it totally is. Anyway, so, I still agree with Ash Ketchum being at a B-, but some people did call it a hot take. I'm going to go really quickly over this one as well. Somebody was saying Tokiyuki's not a F. This show's absolutely utter dog shit, and all the characters suck, and Tokiyuki is one of the worst characters in the already super bad show. So, yeah, I'm just defending this one. I 100% agree with this still. Next, we have this one that people might say is a hot take. Oops, was not supposed to move. And I have Goku at a C+. I say lacks depth. I'd probably move him to a B or B-, but Goku just does not have a lot of depth. He lost all depth in Dragon Ball Z. The original Dragon Ball, he actually was developing as a character, and then once he gets to Dragon Ball Z, he does not change for the rest of the show. And if you want to say depth, his depth is literally being a deadbeat father and being fat. He literally named his son after rice. I mean, let's be honest, dude. Goku just does not have the character like that to really take it that far. He's strong, and people just love strong characters, but yeah, I do stand with this as well. I'd move it up a bit to a B, but I did already say that in this video, but I don't think he's that good of a character. This is one I 100% stand on. Deku at a C-. People will be like, oh, Deku's not even that bad, but no, he is pretty bad. And, my reasoning here is my exact reasoning behind Deku. I don't think he's the worst main character like I used to. Because he is pretty cool in fights. I'm not gonna lie, when he's fighting, he's pretty awesome. Other than when he went emo mode, like that was so lame. That was so incredibly lame. But when he's not fighting, he's just a whiny little bitch. Like, and it's so annoying. When he's fighting, he's cool. When he's not fighting, he's just worried about if Kacchan's gonna, look his way when they go eat lunch or whatever. Like, he's just such a baby when they're not fighting. But he's cool when they're fighting. Other than the emo mode, that was pretty lame. I had Tanjiro at a D. I do think Tanjiro is arguably the worst main character ever. I wouldn't say he's the worst, but he's definitely up there. He's not a good main character at all. He doesn't really have much depth to him. Now, I know some of the comments are like, oh, he does have more depth than he's given credit for. He really doesn't. The show doesn't have much depth at all. There's not many characters that have any. Akaza's one of the few, and it took him, 5 seasons and a movie to get that, so yeah, Tanjiro still hasn't really got any depth to him. I mean, maybe he will in the upcoming movies, but he's just kind of like he's just there, right? I still stand on this. Tanjiro is a D main character. All right, now we move on to our anime overrated or underrated, and as I said, these are going to get more and more hot because we're getting older and older and older. This is without all the rewatches and without comparing them to everything else. So let's go through this. Psyche K overrated. Yeah, I stand on that. It's not even a hot take. It's just not that funny. Now, here's one that I'm actually going to switch up on. I don't think it's a hot take to say D. Gray Man is underrated, but I'm actually going to switch up and say it's overrated. After watching it, Season 1 was fantastic. Season 2 is so boring, like it's almost impossible to get through, I'm not going to lie. I'd say it's overrated because I see people all the time that, have watched it be like, oh my god, it's so good, it's so good. It's just not that good, I'm going to be honest. I just think they're lying, or I think they're trying to be niche. I don't know, because it's really not that good. Because D. Gray Man is pretty much just a copy of Full Metal for the most part. So, Yeah, it's just way worse than Full Metal, and Season 2 sucks. Season 1 was fantastic, but Season 2 was just awful. Okay, here's one of my hot takes saying Attack on Titan is overrated. Now, I do kind of want to make a full video on this because, you know, I don't necessarily agree with the statement that people act like Seasons 1 and 2 aren't mid. I think Season 1 is great. Season 2 is 100% mid. To sit there and defend like Season 2 is a good season, it's not. And I remember I was talking to my friend about it who loves Attack on Titan. He's like, I don't think you watched enough. I watched 2 whole seasons. That's more than enough. Anyway, that's besides the point. Like, if you've watched 2 seasons of an anime and that's not enough to hook you, then it's just not that good, right? And now the reason I say it's overrated, I don't think it's a bad show at all. I think it's a good show, matter of fact. But many people are like, it's the greatest anime ever, or it's a top 5 anime. It's just quite clearly not. There's plenty of anime I can name that don't have a single bad season. Attack on Titan Season 2 is bad. It just is. It's super boring. It almost feels unnecessary. Especially because the story completely changes in Season 3. So Season 2 is honestly just bad. And yeah, I stand on that it is overrated. But Season 1 is good. So I should have just put Season 2. Season 2 is definitely mid. And it's not a top 5 show of all time. Now, this shouldn't be a hot take, but The Elusive Samurai is dog shit. And if it even has 1 viewer, it's overrated. The show's terrible. So yeah, I'm standing on this. Should not be a hot take, though. If you've seen the show, you probably agree. It's absolutely terrible. And if you don't agree, then I don't respect you. Here's another one that's kind of a hot take, Cyberpunk Edgerunners. I love Cyberpunk Edgerunners. I think it's a great show. But I just say it's overrated because people love the ending so much. I honestly think it's the worst episode. I don't think the ending is that good. But the show is very good. I just think it's a little overrated because people are like, oh my god, it's so good. Also, the only reason I put it here is because everybody I know that's watched it is like, oh, Cyberpunk's a top 5, top 10 anime. No, it's not, dude. It's got 8 fucking episodes. It ain't top 5, top 10 shit. Right, and the ending's super overrated, so yeah, I would say I'm still standing on that it is overrated. It's a great show, though. Here's another one that is it's not a hot take because a lot of people will agree, but yet it's so popular, so it is still overrated. Yeah, I mean, it's just like Dragon Ball. There's no real story. It's more just like new level up power and then fight, right? Like, it's not really that interesting. I mean, it's decent, though. Like, I've watched Solo Leveling. I like it, but yeah, it's not a show I'm going to be like is ever top 10 or deserves all the awards it's got because it's not that good. Here's another one that I think people will say is a hot take. I said Chainsaw Man's overrated. This is anime only, right? You know, I haven't read the manga, but what I will say with the anime is that like just none of the characters are really that likable other than Beam. Now, this was before the movie came out. Beam is pretty awesome, I will say, but other than Beam, no one's really likable. They're not unlikable, but nobody has any character, really. I mean, and then the ones that do have character, like Power, hers is so, like, offsetting. Like, she has great moments, and she has horrible moments, and the fact that she doesn't shower is, like, disgusting. So, yeah, I would say the problem with Chainsaw Man is there's just, like, nobody's really likable. Like I said, they're not unlikable, but, yeah, I'd say it's overrated because it is so hyped. It's always going #1 in, like, manga and anime when new episodes and stuff drop, and personally, I don't understand how. I mean, that's just all I'm saying. That's why I think it's overrated. I don't think it's a bad show. I think it's good. But, yeah, I do think it's overrated because how is it always so popular? There's a lot of shows better than Chainsaw Man, in my opinion. But, you know, it's decent. It's a decent little show. Okay, so I think this would be another hot take to say that Death Note is overrated. I think it's very good, but yeah, as you can see here, it kind of falls off after you know who dies, and it falls off heavy. It's just not even interesting anymore. So yeah, I'm not going to spoil it here because I don't like to spoil anything if possible. Like some videos, like I have one either out or coming out that ranks the best endings. Obviously, that's going to be spoilers. But Death Note, yeah, after the one guy dies, it's so boring after that. Next, a lot of people were complaining about this one, but I do think Pokemon is overrated. I think the show just gets worse and worse as time goes on. Like, Indigo League was so peak, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. But, you know, I think the thing with Pokemon is you'll realize is however old they are, the one they grew up with, they just like. Because, for example, I've watched almost all of them. I stopped watching around, like, Sun and Moon or Sword and Shield. I can't remember which one. And they do progressively get worse, right? My friend grew up watching X and Y, and he's like, X and Y is the greatest Pokemon show ever. Dude, no, it's not. It's not even close. And, like, there's no disrespect to him, but it's just because he grew up with it. He's saying that if he went and rewatched it, he would not enjoy it like that. Like, because it does get worse as it goes on. But I think nostalgia blinds a lot of people, and you know, the people that leave comments are like, "Oh, Pokemon's not overrated" or whatever. It's like, yeah, go back and rewatch it because I guarantee they hadn't watched it in years. Here's another one people get mad at when I call Bleach overrated. I just think it's not really on the level of One Piece and Naruto. I think Bleach suffers, from my opinion, in the character department. A lot of the characters suck. Like, let's just look at the characters here. I'm not even going to go over all of it because I do like Bleach, by the way. I've been watching it, but you have Renji here who loses every single fight. I mean, there's no point. Like, every time Renji's on the screen, you know he's not going to do anything. So just a bad character there. It's like there's nothing to predict with him. Rukia, she's okay. I don't have an issue with Rukia. Not my favorite, but not bad. And then we have Orihime. Orihime is literally the girl that cried wolf. She's like, oh, why does everybody have to help me, this, and that? And then she puts herself in the worst situations of all time. She's the reason most things go bad in the show. And she keeps blaming the wrong thing. Like, I remember we just got done with, like, the Okiura fight and stuff. Well, we've been done with it for a little bit. But she was like, oh my god, the reason Ichigo went into the hollow form was because I asked him to protect me. No, the reason all this happened was because your dumbass wanted to get in the field when you should be at home studying because you don't know how to do shit. And she be pissing me off, bro, because she don't help at all. And she just makes me mad, bro. She is so, like, she doesn't help. Yoruichi as well just does pretty much nothing in the original Bleach. I don't have, like, she's a cool character, a personality and everything, but she literally doesn't do anything. Like, after Soul Society arc, you see her, but she's doing nothing. You see the backstory of her, which is cool, but yeah, she just doesn't really do much. I don't have an issue with her, but again, doesn't really do much. You have Uryu, who in my opinion is genuinely the worst character created in all of fiction. I cannot think of a character worse than Uryu, and you can list as many characters as you want in the comments. I will not say anybody's worse than Uryu. I think he's the worst character. Now, I do plan on making a video about Uryu and why I hate him so much, but the main thing I want to say is he thinks he's strong, he's not. He thinks he's better than everybody, he's not. He thinks he's smart when he's really a dumbass. Every time he's like, oh, I can do this, this, and this because I over-calculated you. He's wrong. He loses every fucking time. He is so annoying. He's got to be the worst character ever. And not to mention that, his power is lame as hell. His backstory is lame as hell. Him being a Quincy is lame as hell. And he has the longest fights in the show when they're the lamest fights in the show. Like, how come in Hueco Mundo, his fight is 20 episodes and it's the most boring thing ever, and Ichigo versus Grimmjow's 3 episodes? Like, he just genuinely makes Bleach so much worse. I hate Uryu. The number 69 god back there, I mean, he's actually pretty cool, but Toshiro's a fraud of a captain. He loses all the time. 007 for a reason. Ikaku's pretty awesome. Chad is Chad. He's goated. And Kisuke, I mean, Kisuke's cool. But, yeah, there's just so many characters, and there's so many more I could talk about that just do nothing. That's why I think it's overrated. You know, I'm a big character guy. I think the story of Bleach is great, but I think it just has way too many characters. I think that's its downside. It has too many characters that either suck or just don't do anything, and it's pointless, right, in my opinion. Because, like, honestly, in this picture, you could remove Orihime, Uryu, Renji. I'd keep Yoruichi because she's kind of bad, and Toshiro, and I don't think the story honestly improves. You remove Uryu, the story improves, but you remove all those guys, I genuinely think the story probably gets better because you don't need to worry about them because they're kind of useless and boring. So, yeah, that's in my opinion why it's overrated. It kind of struggles. I think it's a great show, but the reason I say overrated is because it's always compared to Naruto and One Piece, and I don't think it's on the level of either of those. So, yeah, that's why I say it's overrated. I still think it's a great show, though. But also, the other thing with Bleach fans I will say is they will get mad because I say that. It's just an opinion, bro. Like, if you tell me you think Naruto's worse than One Piece and Bleach, I'm not going to get mad, bro. Now, if you say Naruto's a bad show, then I'll get mad. Because I'm not saying Bleach is bad. I think it's a good show. I just don't think it's on the level of those two. Like, if you say the same about either of the other two, I'm not going to get mad. Well, I shouldn't say Bleach fans. That's just how anime fans are. If you say something's overrated, they automatically think you mean bad. It does not mean bad. I promise you. It just does not. But yeah. Okay, next, another, I guess, hot take. We have Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball just really is good for its moments and its fight. There's no real story after the original Dragon Ball and after Raditz, to be honest. After Raditz is killed, the story kind of just falls off there. Then just random monsters come out and they have to fight them. That's pretty much the story for the rest of Dragon Ball. I think it's cool. I think it's a good show, but a lot of people have it in their top 5, top 10. It's just not a top 5, top 10 anime. I'm not saying you can't have it there, right? Like, I'm not going to be like, wow, what is wrong with you? But that just makes it overrated, you know? It's just not that good, to be honest with you. It's cool, it's iconic, it's got great moments, but it's missing a lot of depth. and a lot of good character development. But some people just don't want that, and that's fine. Some people want simple shows, so, you know, it's just overrated to me. Okay, we're going to look at two different series we have here. I ranked anime off how overrated they are, and then we have one that is overrated and underrated characters that did pretty well that people were not too happy about, so we're going to look at those as well. Alright, so I think we're just going to go through these very quickly and kind of give my reasoning. So Hunter x Hunter is about right in the middle. I have it at 26, and the reason why is, as you can see here, it's just not finished. I think that makes it slightly overrated because people are like, it's so good. Honestly, an anime needs to be complete, or any story needs to be complete, because the most important part of any story is honestly the start and the finish. And so if a show's not finished or manga's not finished, you know, it's not really there. But this is just like tiny overrated. It's not that it's bad. I love Hunter x Hunter. It's in my top 10, so, you know. Same goes, oh wait, no, this is My Hero. So My Hero is a great show, but Deku definitely drops it down a little bit for me, so yeah, that's why it's here. Then we have One Piece. It's the same as Hunter x Hunter, right? And I think it being long, I think is actually a good thing. I hate when people are like, oh, the show's too long. Would you not want your favorite show to have 1,000 episodes? Now, I'm not saying that this is going to be your favorite show, but I think most people will enjoy One Piece, right? Like, it's my number 4 anime of all time. It's not my favorite. It's not in my top 3, but I'm glad it has this many episodes. I like watching all the episodes, so yeah. But it is a little bit overrated because, again, it's not really close to finishing. Okay, so this is way before Season 3 started. This should be moved up way higher now because Season 3 is fucking awful. Assassination Classroom, I think, is just forgettable. Yeah, we talked about Pokemon earlier. Same thing, nostalgia blinds. Vinland Saga, again, this is a hot take for me, so I will elaborate on this one a little bit since this is a hot take video. I don't really like any of the characters other than Thorfinn, and I really don't like Vikings. Vikings kind of bore me, so I think objectively it's a good show. It's just for me, I don't really enjoy it that much because I don't really like Vikings, and I don't really like the other characters and most of the story. I really like just the parts where it follows Thorfinn, so that's why it's a little bit overrated for me, because the other stuff, yes, I get is necessary to the story, but I don't really particularly enjoy it. Next we have Code Geass. The only reason I had it at slightly overrated, I probably wouldn't anymore, is because after I finished Code Geass and started including it in my list, it summoned all the Code Geass fans, and they just started calling everything else trash that wasn't Code Geass, and I was like, what? So yeah, that's why I have Code Geass on here. Next we have Full Metal. I just don't think it's the greatest anime ever. I personally don't have it in my top 5. I'm not mad if people have it at the greatest, but that's why I have to put it in a little bit overrated, because I personally don't think it's the greatest anime, so that's why it's a little bit overrated. Then we have JJK. I'd honestly probably move this down because JJK is like a balance beam. It's like people are like, oh my god, this show is so awesome, it's so amazing, it's so great. And then like a month later they'll be like, wow, this show sucks, everybody overrates it. And then it just goes back and forth because, you know, people are sheep and just listen to what other people tell them. And I think it's a good show. I don't think it's one of the best shows ever. I don't think it's like the best new gen, but it's a good show. It's not a bad show, so let's stop flipping the script on that. And then we have Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Like we talked about earlier, I think the ending is a little bit overrated. And now we have the big boy list. Chainsaw Man we talked about earlier. Death Note we talked about earlier. Doraemon, I just think there's so many better options for kids shows that Doraemon's just not that good in my opinion. There's just a lot better you could watch. Fairy Tail, I do agree Fairy Tail is overrated because it should not be a household name in anime. I think it only is because of when it came out. Fairy Tail's just not a good show, to be honest. There's one fantastic arc, and there's some good arcs and a lot of bad arcs. The way it goes is you'll watch an arc in Fairy Tail and be like, wow, that's really good. And then the next arc will be utterly dog shit. And then the next arc will be pretty good. It just goes back and forth, back and forth. Literally 50% of the show sucks, and 50% of the show is good. That is quite the definition of mid, yet everybody knows Fairy Tail. People talk about Fairy Tail. It shouldn't be known like that. Next we have Tsukimichi. It's just a bad show. I mean, no need to talk about that. Bleach, we talked about Bleach already, but yeah, the reason I think it's overrated, I just don't think it compares to One Piece or Naruto. Dragon Ball, we talked about. Solo Leveling, we talked about. Kill la Kill, it's just way too Gooner anime. Like, the only place I could watch this is in my bed. I can't even watch this on my monitor because if somebody comes in my room and sees me watching that, like, yeah, it's just overrated. I mean, it's kind of funny. Sword Art's just bad. Skate the Infinity is just awful. I don't think it's a hot take. Demon Slayer, did we talk about it? Oh no, the story in Demon Slayer is just not good. The characters kind of suck, and I say the animation carries. Honestly, disagree with that. I think all the flashing lights is not good animation. Like, I can't see what's going on. I'm just seeing a bunch of colors fly everywhere. I don't really think that is great animation, right? But there's like some good moments. Like the new movie was better than the entire show. I'm not gonna lie. If you don't like Demon Slayer, like you tried watching Demon Slayer and you don't really like it, go watch the movie. You'll like the movie, but yeah, the anime is not that good. Attack on Titan, we already talked about. Season 2 is just bad. It's not a top 5 piece of fiction. Like, that's just objectively quite wrong. Next we have Psyche K. It's just boring. And then number 1, Elusive Samurai is the worst show ever, so I had to have it there. But now we'll move on to our final little thing of my hot takes, and then, yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, so now we move back to one of my oldest real hot take videos that did well. Part 1 didn't do that well, but Part 2 did very well. So we are going to talk about these because these changed a lot, and these are probably my hot takes that I don't really agree with as much anymore. And yeah, as you can see, the format is completely different as well. So obviously Kaguya is still the worst in Naruto. This one I had Appu/Ulti. I do think Ulti is worse, but Appu is a pretty awful character. I do hate him as well, so I think this is still valid. Kenta is still valid. He's a little annoying. Sun Jin-woo, I would change this to Cha Hae-in, or however you say her name. She annoys me a lot. Sun Jin-woo doesn't really annoy me as much anymore, but he's just not a good character. I had this guy for Fire Force. Honestly, I think would agree with this. He's just a kind of a dick. Apparently this one's a hot take, but Rebecca from Cyberpunk, I'm sorry I'm not into, you know, little girls that are feisty. That's just kind of weird in my opinion. I don't get why so many people like her. She's also not even a great character. She's kind of just stupid. So yeah, I don't know why this is a hot take to some people, but I don't like Rebecca. And then this was the part that really did well, so we can look at some of these. Seke, again, we went over, you know. Invisible Baby, yeah, absolutely terrible. I put Envy. I'd definitely do Gluttony or Sloth now. Envy's not the worst. Envy's just a little bit annoying, but definitely would not put him on there. Don't even get me started again talking about Uryu. I hate this motherfucker with every bone in my body. But that's going to do it for this video. I know this video might be a little bit of a longer one, but I did just kind of want to go over like some of my hot takes I've made before. I don't really make that many hot takes about anime. I feel like, at least like content-wise, like I may have some that I don't think of. But yeah, for the most part, none of them are really that serious. The only ones that like I'm willing to die on are Gohan ruins Dragon Ball and Uryu ruins Bleach, which I'm going to make videos on both of those because those are hills I will die on. The rest of them, it's like, whatever. Like, I think Bleach is a little overrated, but if Bleach is your favorite anime, that's cool with me, bro. Like, I get why people like it so much. It's just, for me, it's overrated. Like, most other of the hot takes. Oh, and Elusive Samurai's dog shit. That's another one I would die on. The rest of them, I can at least get. Like, I hate Skate the Infinity, but I could get how somebody likes that. But those 3 takes, those are the 3 hot takes I will die on. The rest of them, you know, whatever. If you don't agree with them, that's fine. You know, I don't have an issue with that. You know, you shouldn't have an issue with my hot takes because some people just have hot takes and they see things differently, right? But those 3 are the ones I'm not moving on. Uryu's a dog shit character, Gohan's a dog shit character, and the Elusive Samurai is the worst show ever created. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, check out the subathon. Peace.